I had such high hopes for this film, and they have been crushed. Hey guys, Melinda here. Today I'm going to be talking about a film that I had been looking forward to seeing for 3 years now. Now that I've finally seen it, I am very, very disappointed in it. Today I am going to be talking about the film The New Mutants. Before I get into today's movie review, for those of you who haven't seen any of my other reviews, I like to review it in a way that gives no spoilers, so that way anybody can click onto this video, get an idea if they want to go watch it, hear my thoughts, opinions, anything like that, and yeah, there you go. So yes, The New Mutants. If you have not heard of this film, basically it is a spin-off movie of the X-Men franchise. I believe that this is supposed to be set in a different universe, but like within the X-Men universe, if that makes sense. Just because, you know, everything right now is kind of starting to spin off and towards different timelines, different dimensions, universes, stuff like that. So I think this is supposed to be set in a different universe. What this film is about, which you can see from the trailer, so no spoilers. Basically, these young kids, teenage age, they are being held at a government facility because they have recently developed their mutant abilities and they don't quite know how to control it. They are being held at this facility to do tests on and to help get their abilities under control. And the plot twist that comes with that is that they might be being held at this facility for a different reason, and the doctor that's trying to help them might have other intentions. So that's what we're left with when watching the trailer. So I won't be going any more further into detail about any of that story. I do have to say though, oh my gosh, I don't know where to start. I guess I'll start from the beginning. The first trailer that was ever released for this movie was released 3 years ago. That's when I first saw it. I thought it looked so interesting because it was the X-Men universe, but they were setting it up to be a horror film, which is one of my favorite genre movies and TV shows to watch. So I was so excited. I love the superhero franchise, so everything Marvel, everything DC, I'm very fascinated by it. So when I heard that they were doing a horror movie of X-Men characters, I thought I was very intrigued. Never heard anything from it, and so I had been waiting several months for this film to come out and was not hearing anything of it. I just kept noticing that the release date kept getting pushed further back. Even if you go watch the original trailer released 3 years ago, it says that it was supposed to be released in April 13th. Now this was probably back in 2018 it was supposed to be released, which obviously never happened. Then there were like a lot of rumors that were surfacing that they had to do reshoots and completely change the story, and then that's when I started to become disinterested because I didn't know what the film was supposed to be. So they released a new trailer about a year ago, looked pretty similar to the first trailer that they released, and it still looked like a horror film. So I was thinking, okay, doesn't look like they changed much, but we're gonna roll with it and see what happened. Then of course quarantine happened, so then it got pushed back even further. Finally was able to be released, and now it is streaming on HBO Max, and that's how I was able to watch it. So where I was going with that, I was doing some research about this film because I was very curious what happened with reshoots and all of that stuff. So it turns out that the reshoots were actually just a rumor. There were never any reshoots that the director had done. What happened was 3 years ago when they were getting ready to release the film, when they made the trailer, the film was about 75% done. They hadn't finished filming the movie and they hadn't finished editing it. Back then is when Disney was trying to purchase 20th Century Fox, and that production had to go on pause. The director was offered a different role, so he went off and did that. 2 years ago is when they finally had the green light to start filming again. So that's when they came together, they finished everything, finished making the movie, and they were able to finally release it. So that's why it took forever, and there were actually no reshoots, which makes this film more disappointing to me. Okay, and now with all of that backstory, I'm gonna get into some specifics now. The first thing I wanted to note, the 2 trailers that they released, there's a couple more, but the big ones that they released 3 years ago and 1 year ago are horribly misleading. The trailers made the movie seem like like it was going to be very action-packed, very intense, very horror-esque, which the film was not at all. About 30 minutes into it, I was thinking, what am I watching? This feels like a completely different movie than what I was expecting. I was watching it with my boyfriend, and afterwards I pulled up the original trailer because I was trying so hard to explain to him that the trailer was so misleading with what to expect in this film. So I showed him both trailers and he felt the exact same way afterwards. I would say if you want to go watch this, don't go watch the trailers because then you will get a completely different movie from it, which I don't like. I would say that this film is more of a thriller than a horror, but again, just not what I was expecting. I did want to note one scene in particular that is in both original and the new trailers. There's a scene with the main character. She's sitting in this room covering her ears screaming, and there's like faces and hands coming out of the walls, which that wasn't even in the movie at all. That leads me to believe that some scenes were taken out in post, which is very possible because that happens when you're done filming and you're editing, getting ready to release it. Some things just don't make the final cut. And I'm curious if that scene was part of it, and I'm very curious what else could have been cut out. There were quite a few big names that were in this, and there aren't a lot of characters. So we have Anya Taylor-Joy, Maisie Williams, Charlie Heaton, Henry Zaga, and that's at least who I recognize. The only other two actors in this are Alice Braga and Blue Hunt, who is the main character who I did not recognize whatsoever. So, I mean, for a cast of 6 people, 4 of them I at least recognize. I imagine there's other people out there that recognize everybody's name. I wanted to note 2 things. At the end of it, my boyfriend said that it was very distracting to have the actors play these characters to the extent that they were. An example would be Charlie Heaton. His character is a very southern Kentucky boy. Since we've seen him on Stranger Things, it just felt so weird and over dramatized, I would say. Like, the accent just felt too much. And same thing with Maisie Williams' character. Her character is Scottish, she's British, so it was just very weird to hear her voice change like that. And also with Anya Joy-Taylor, because she's playing a Russian. I did some research about their characters, and yes, their Marvel characters that they're playing are exactly that. So Charlie Heaton's character is supposed to be a Kentucky boy. Maisie Williams' character is supposed to be a Scottish character, and same thing with Anya Joy-Taylor's character is supposed to be Russian. Bottom line, my boyfriend was just saying that it's very distracting because we've seen these actors in other things, and the accents just felt way too forced and didn't feel natural. He would rather have actors and actresses that are of that nationality because then it would be more believable and less distracting. But I countered with that I imagine the director, the casting agent, whoever picked the actors for this film wanted the big names to draw more people in. But if you get people that have seen these actors in other movies and TV shows, of course you're gonna naturally want to go watch it because you like what they've done. I do agree with him that it was very distracting, but they are trying to play their characters to the best of their ability, and I believe that is why there are the big names, to get more people to watch this film. The visual effects in this are okay. They aren't the best, and that is not good considering that it is an X-Men movie with mutants and abilities, and they're supposed to do these supernatural weird stuff. So the visual effects looks kind of cookie cutter, kind of cheesy, and again, just not the best. I thought the story was very interesting. It was just poorly executed. Like, it could have gone so many different routes and could have turned out to be a very amazing film, but it did not end up that way. To me, what it felt like is that the movie was trying way too hard to showcase these new mutants, these new characters and their abilities, rather than trying to develop the story and the actual characters themselves. Like, it was trying to showboat what exactly they can do rather than some backstory we could use or how they're using it in this facility. I don't know. There's just like a lot of different routes that it could have gone with that. that, and it didn't. Which kind of leads into my next point. No spoilers, but there is a love story that happens within this film, which I personally just wasn't the biggest fan of, and I really think it boils down to the film being poorly executed. I think that they could have been a really cute couple, it could have been a really cute story, but it just wasn't done well. The film to me felt way too jumpy. We were very quickly going through this story without the backstory, the character development, all of that stuff that we need in a film, and like we were missing pieces of the film, which draws me back to my point earlier that in the trailer we see the main character, she's covering her ears and there's faces and hands coming out of the wall, which we did not get. So there 100% are scenes that are missing out of this film, and honestly I felt like they could have been key and very crucial, because to me it felt like we were missing a piece of the puzzle, and I don't know, I don't like that when I watch a film. And it did leave me with some questions. I've mentioned this in some of my other reviews. Because I am a writer, I'm very big on the how and the why, and I need the explanation or else I'm just not gonna like it, unless that is the whole purpose of the story, which I will absolutely acknowledge, but I know that this isn't part of it. One of my questions is, how exactly did the characters end up in this facility? How on earth did the doctor know that these kids have mutant abilities and knew to bring them to this facility? That just kept coming in my mind and I could not get rid of it, and now that I've watched the film in its entirety, I still don't know the answer, and I think that itself could be a very interesting key factor to the story. But honestly, the film did not do that great, so I don't expect there to be a sequel. Alright, so there we go. There is pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about the New Mutants. Again, it was a very interesting concept and story, and I think it could have been amazing, but it was just poorly executed. Oh gosh, I want to recommend this, but I don't think I will, just because it wasn't the greatest and left me disappointed. Yeah, there you go. There are all of my thoughts and ideas. If you guys have any questions or you want to go further into detail about the film, please leave that down in the comments down below. I would love to have a discussion. But that is everything for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you all for the support. If you like this video, go ahead, give it a big thumbs up. It would absolutely mean the world to me. And make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not already and you want to see more content. With that being said, I will see you in the next video. Live life, always laugh, and enjoy the journey. Bye.